What's going on, guys? What's going on, Tesla? What's going on, everybody? So, so, LeBron James, LeBron James has scored his 400 points. He is breaking NBA records. LeBron James is one of the GOATs, and we can put him in that conversation now with the great Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan and Dirk and Kareem, and the list goes on and on. The list goes on and on about how LeBron James's greatness on and off the court is, because he's still breaking records when we look at it. When we look at how LeBron James is breaking records right now in the NBA and how his 22-year longevity, how he's able to play 22 years, we could see probably we won't see another LeBron James do what he did. We might see another player play 22 years. We might see another player in the NBA or probably a player in the WNBA play 22 years. 22 years. We might see that. But until then, like, LeBron playing being in his 22nd season in the NBA, and we also saw, like, we saw Jordan lose to the Orlando Magic with Shaq and Penny. We seen that. Being in his 22nd season in the NBA for LeBron James, and is the only one out still in the NBA from that '03 draft class, which in that 2003 draft class, that draft class was Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, LeBron James. I probably can't think of other players right now on top of my head that was in that 2003 draft. But I could say that Carmelo Anthony had a good career. I can say that Dwayne Wade had a good career. Chris Bosh had a good career. I can say that. And let me get the elephant out of the room. Let me get the elephant out of the room as well. LeBron James said, let me get the elephant out of the room. LeBron James said when he was 16 years old in high school, he got to play against Michael Jordan and a bunch of NBA players at that time. And this story that LeBron James told is totally true. For him to be, let me get the elephant out of the room. For him to be able to play a pickup game with Michael Jordan, is an interesting story to hear. Because now you're saying the two greatest players of all time. We do have to put Kobe in that discussion. We do have to put Penny Hardaway in that discussion. Jason Kidd, all of those guys in that discussion. Kevin Durant, Steph Curry. The list just goes on and on. But at the end of the day, LeBron James got to play against his idol. LeBron James got to play against his idol in Michael Jordan. And this story is actually true that he got to play against Michael Jordan. And I think when we look at that, like playing against his idol in a pickup basketball game, I think it's amazing to do. It's amazing to hear. Even though back then, there was no social media. Even though back then, when pickup games were called pickup games, there was no social media at all. And I think playing pickup basketball with NBA players, or playing pickup basketball against your idol that you looked up at, is amazing to see. And LeBron James did this at 16 years old. And then came into the NBA. And look how his greatness and how he's breaking records are going. Let me get the elephant out of the room. If you told me that LeBron James would go against Michael Jordan at the age of 16 years old, I would say that would be like amazing matchup to watch. And just think about this too. I'm thinking about this too. Is that if the year that LeBron came into the league, what if Michael Jordan never retired the year before that? And we got to see a Michael Jordan versus LeBron James matchup. Just like we got to see Kobe Bryant versus LeBron, or like we're seeing now Steph versus LeBron, Kevin Durant versus LeBron. Like we're seeing that matchup. But what if we got to see? What if we definitely got to see a matchup between these two great players? Because these two Hall of Famer, LeBron James going to be a Hall of Famer. LeBron James, let me get the elephant out of the room. LeBron James is already a Hall of Famer. No matter what the conversation is about who's better, Jordan or LeBron, I definitely think now that LeBron scored 40,000 points, I definitely think LeBron can play 5 or 7 more years in the NBA. I definitely think that. Because the way that LeBron has done what he's been doing is interesting to see and amazing to see. because we all know that um that we will probably see somebody play 22 years like LeBron, but probably not probably not in the net, probably not after LeBron James retired, because when we look at that, we can say that LeBron is 4-6 in the NBA Finals, and Jordan is 6-0, and Kobe is 5-1, and Kobe is 5-1 in the NBA Finals, and Duncan is probably like 5-1 in the NBA Finals. We can go down the list like Tim Duncan has 11 rings. I mean, Tim Duncan has 5 rings. Kobe has 5 rings. Shaq has 4 rings. Um, Jordan has 6 rings. LeBron has 4 rings. LeBron's going to get his 5th ring. No matter what, LeBron's going to get his 5th ring. Once LeBron gets his 5th ring, let me get the elephant in the room. Everybody's going to be talking about how LeBron got 5 rings. And then everybody would stop talking about how LeBron is 4-6 in the finals. Even though, like, you have Michael Jordan and LeBron James that were a part of that 75 greatest all team. That was a part of that greatest 75 all team. And yeah, we can put Tim Duncan in that because he was a part of that. Shaq was a part of that. Iverson was a part of that. But when we look at LeBron James and Michael Jordan, we need to like give credit where credit is due. Even though these two players played in a different era, doesn't mean that we might see LeBron James, if he decides to play probably the Nets, I would say probably to play 5 or 8 more years in the NBA. We just have to accept that we're seeing LeBron James's greatness, that we saw Iverson's greatness, that we saw Michael Jordan's greatness, Tim Duncan's greatness, Dirk's greatness, Carmelo Anthony's greatness, Dwayne Wade's greatness, Shaq, um, um, Kobe. Like, we have to give LeBron more credit, because what we're seeing now is somebody that passed Kareem for 400 points, somebody that passed Kareem for the all-time scoring list, somebody that was on the all-time 75 list of all time with Michael Jordan. Somebody that, like, we can bring up Michael Jordan, how he won Defense Player of the Year, how he won Defense Player of the Year, and how he won MVP. LeBron has 4 MVPs. LeBron played with 14 different All-Stars. LeBron has his son on the LeBron has his son on the Lakers. The Lakers drafted Bronny on the Lakers. So when we look at that from a standpoint, we could say that LeBron could play in the 90s. We could have said, well, LeBron can play in the 90s. There is no debate on if we saw from a 39, when we look at this, from a 39 Michael Jordan to a 30, let me compare this, to a 39-year-old Michael Jordan, to a 40-year-old LeBron James. LeBron James has had an amazing career. It doesn't, let me get the elephant in the room. It doesn't matter how many times I say LeBron James has had an amazing career. Nobody will have a longevity like LeBron James. We won't see another player play we won't see another player that been in 4 different primes, in 4 different version primes, like LeBron James has had in his career. Like, we won't see that. We won't see somebody that had a longevity career is playing 22 seasons and has been in his prime. We seen LeBron James play we seen LeBron James play in his prime his whole career in 4 decades now. In 4 decades now. And when we look at the NBA now, we do have Ja, we do have Zion, we still have Steph, we still have Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis. But the debate of who's going to be the greatest, who had the greatest, the debate of Michael Jordan versus LeBron James, it's always going to stand like that because soon when LeBron James retires, everybody's going to be like trying to find the next player to talk about. Let me get the elephant out of the room. Everybody's going to try to talk about, once LeBron James retires, everybody's going to figure out who else to talk about. Because Steph Curry's going to retire one day. Kevin Durant's going to retire one day. Klay Thompson's going to retire one day. Anthony Davis is going to retire one day. Embiid's going to retire one day. Paul George is going to retire one day. Westbrook is going to retire one day. Jokic, the list just goes on and on. Somebody is going to be the next, once LeBron James leaves the NBA, once Steph leaves the NBA, once Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, Westbrook. Once these guys retire and leave the NBA, there is going to be a new face of the NBA. And we just have to accept these great players' greatness that we're seeing in the NBA with Steph, Kevin Durant, and LeBron James, with the WNBA, with the NFL. We have to accept these players' greatness because these players won't be around. These players won't be around forever. These players won't be around forever. And when we go back and look at LeBron's MVPs and LeBron's, when we go and look back at LeBron's MVPs and LeBron's MVPs and LeBron's how many defense player of the years he had, how many defensive teams he made, and all first teams that he made, and how many MVPs he had, and how many points he had. Like um, Jordan didn't go straight from high school to the pros. When Jordan was getting bounced out of the second round in college when he was 20. LeBron James took a team to the NBA Finals in the Cavaliers when he got into the league. Michael Jordan had to go against the Bad Boy Pistons, the Larry Bird Celtics. He had to go through Michael Jordan had to go through the Detroit Pistons with Isaiah, Dumars, Rodman, and then Michael Jordan had to go against Larry Bird. And when we look who LeBron had to go against. He had to go against Tim Duncan, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant. Like, I think when we look at the GOAT conversation, we also have to put in how these players had to get through to be the great players and to be Hall of Famers today. We just don't look at that. We don't look at how what LeBron did, putting the Cavs back in the 07 finals, putting the Cavs in, putting up 46 or 50 against the 04 Pistons, to get to, against the 07 Pistons to get to the NBA Finals. In 07, we don't look at that. From LeBron's standpoint, we look at LeBron winning, going to Miami with D. Wade and Chris Bosh. We look at that. How he won those two championships and then came back and won a championship with the Cavs and then won a championship with the Lakers. We seen Jordan win 6 of them with Scottie Pippen. Dennis Rodman win 6 with. We seen Michael Jordan win 6 championships, retire from the NBA, and then and then went to go play baseball for a year. LeBron didn't go do that. LeBron been playing basketball for 22 for 22 seasons. So when we look at LeBron had 14 played with 14 different All Stars. Jordan played with fifth. Jordan played with only 3 All Stars. When we look at that, we gotta start looking at how what LeBron did in terms of his career, and not look at the 4 and 6 finals and what Jordan did. But guys, so if you're new, and never give up your dreams. And I hope all of you guys are safe out there. And stay blessed, everybody. And peace.